All right, howdy. We have got quite the war for you, and by we I mean I. We are up against SSX. These are our good friends. We've got a lot of buddies over there. Strands, JT, Wally, Meta, Robbie, DLL, Rob, all kinds of people over there. But yeah, so instead of scouting, I'm gonna kind of preface this video. So. This was, I think, easily the worst war that I've ever had playing mcoc. And normally I'd kind of make a joke about it, and I am going to kind of memorialize the war by using a hit counter so you guys can see how many hits I've taken throughout the war. It's pretty appalling, but I also did want to let you guys know that you know, a lot of you are probably going to watch this, and you're going to, number one, think that I suck and want to tell me that I suck. And if you want to tell me that I suck in the comment section, that's totally fine. But also, you're probably going to wonder, you know, legitimately, how is this guy, if this guy plays like this, or he's this unreliable, this bad, how is this guy in for Loki? And the only thing I want to say to that is, throughout the war, you'll kind of start to understand. But if I were to play, if this was my skill level, right? If this war was just emblematic of how bad I was at mcoc, I would not deserve to be in a Platinum 1 or Masters level alliance. So I really don't know what to say about why I've struggled so much this season and why it's gonna kind of all, you know, meet its apex in this war. But, you know, it is what it is, and I'm committed to posting the war videos and showing you guys. I will still try a little bit to actually analyze the fights, you know, midway through, but I will have that hit counter in the middle of the screen so you guys can see just how awful I was in this war. So, alright, this is a pretty good placement. This is probably the best placement for Man-Thing in my opinion. You can really get into trouble. There I thought that I nailed a parry. Apparently I missed. That's my first hit of the war. I did use an invulnerability boost, for which I have 2 more indestructible charges left. This SP3 is going to use one of those up. So after this, I will have 1 indestructible charge left. And basically, in this fight, once he gets below 50% health, every time he throws a special attack, he's going to regenerate, and that's going to cause him on this turn with Vigorous Assault to be fully unblockable. And then also there is a timer. I'm not sure exactly what it is, but where he goes, he regenerates anyway. He's got a massive health pool, so regen is going to help him a lot. Anyway, so here I go. I'm using 600 units, and that's really been the story of this season. Really poor play, and it's been the most expensive war season in memory, and that tends to happen when you play really, really poorly. So obviously in that previous fight I missed a dash back and just, you know, kind of got screwed. Here I back up a little bit too soon. I, you know, use up one of my indestructible charges, and then there again I thought that I hit a reparry, and I didn't. I don't know. My timing has been off basically for the last month. In every piece of content that I've played mcoc. You know, I've struggled in Alliance Quest 2 a little bit, and I don't know, man. It's actually you know, at one point it was funny, but it's actually really like worrisome for me because you know, I use mcoc as kind of a you know, an escapist you know, thing for me. Where I can kind of relax and just have fun with friendly competition, stuff like that. But I also want to try, I want to be challenged, and yeah, I don't know. So it's kind of really been a nightmare season, and it's really tanked my enjoyment for the game, unfortunately. Not to make this video all sad and pouty and stuff like that. But it's just been really brutal, and I really have no explanation for it. I'm just off. So it is what it is. We march ahead. All right, so I am using my rank 3 SIG-200 Captain America here. I throw the heavy. He's not stunned, so I get punished there. This is, honestly, I think that this might be the best fight that I had all war. In fact, I'm certain that it is. I only end up taking one single hit in this fight, and yeah, I didn't have any other fights, or any fights in this war at all, where I didn't get hit. So, yeah, it's going to be pretty ugly, guys. I don't really know what to say, but for the most part, this is a pretty easy fight. I would say that the Man-Thing fight is considerably more difficult. Obviously, I should have soloed regardless, but at the very least, one could understand to a degree where I would die to that fight. But anyway, all right, so here, finally, easy fight, right? Nick Fury. I am using my 5-star Nick Fury because my rank 3 6-star Nick Fury is on defense. And basically, this fight is pretty simple. You just want to inflict as many debuffs as possible, and then recycle your SP1 to not only build tactical charges so that you can shrug off any debuffs that he places on you, but also prevent him from evading. Alright, so because he's got 3 debuffs on him, I am unblockable at this point. And once I get 3 debuffs on me, he'll become unblockable. And here he is, he's unblockable. I throw my SP1 into his block because I'm trying to get those tactical charges up. But he punishes it. That was just kind of a panic move on my part. And then there I go for a parry. Because again, I'm panicking. I've struggled so much in this war. I'm just like completely, I think, kind of out of it. And it's not for lack of trying. I'm trying. I'm just doing a really poor job. I don't know what else to say about it. So here finally I've got my bearings a little bit. I'm paying more attention to the buffs and passives and stuff like that, and the fight is very much in hand right now. Despite how bad I've been in this war to this point, and it's going to get worse, I am not concerned about clearing this fight. This is the only clearing this fight without dying. This is the only Nick Fury fight that I have this war. And frankly, if I were to lose my life model decoy, it would just make the fight even easier for me because I wouldn't have to worry about tactical charges, all that stuff. I'd be hitting really, really hard and be able to kill him pretty quickly. So anyway, all is okay. Just going to evade this, and then I'm going to back off so that I can parry to get that indestructible charge off of him. And I'm just going to build up to my SP1. I did think that this was going to kill him. I think that it does, actually. Yeah, it kills him. So, alright. We are 3 fights in. We've taken 26 hits total. Okay, so here. My goal is... my goal was to start the fight with a parry, so that I could start building up kinetic charges so that when she threw her heavy or her SP1, I'd be able to automatically purify those debuffs, but she started the fight by throwing a heavy. I didn't notice, or I did notice, but I just didn't process it quick enough, and then I tried to parry directly after. Of course, she was unblockable. Yeah. Really brutal stuff. And So I usually really embrace kind of my mistakes, and one of the main reasons that I started this channel a couple years ago was because I knew that I was going to be making mistakes. I knew that I was not the best player, and I never have been the best player or really a tip-top tier player. But I wanted to share my mistakes to help people learn. But this was the first fight, or the first war, I think, maybe that I've ever taken, where I I questioned whether or not I should even upload the war because it's just such a mischaracterization of what I feel like my skill level is. And it would be very, very easy and justified for anybody of any skill level to watch this and feel like, frankly, I shouldn't be playing MCOC. And I don't know, maybe that means that I need a break soon. I don't know. But anyway, all right. Enough of that bullshit. On to Void. All right, so in this fight, I'm going into this fight and I have in my head, for some reason, and again, I don't know if I'm just like in a haze, I really don't understand. So first of all, I'm able to get the spacing on the heavy, which is great. That's going to come into play a little bit later in this fight. But I have in my head that once I parry him, because I have a kinetic charge, I'll be able to instantly purify the stun. There I get tapped because the previous heavy that I threw, I had the spacing on it. So I go for a parry, and for some reason I think that I'm going to stun him. Obviously, on this note, even if you're able to bypass the stun reflection, you're not going to be able to stun him unless he's poisoned or incinerated. And it took me, for some reason, it took me 2 tries to parry him, to try to stun him, and then to punish, and two times getting hit by him to finally for it to click in my dumb stupid head that I'm not going to be able to parry him at all in this fight. All right, so at this point I'm able to string together a combo meter finally. Every time one of his debuffs applies, it's instantly purified. I'm obviously not going to have any specials in this fight. And what's so funny when I was watching this war back in horror is there are flashes in some of the fights of like a good player. Just with, I don't know, projectile parrying with Captain America, I don't know, stuff like that. So it's just really unfortunate. And anyway, I'm trying to avoid going down the whiny rabbit hole. But, all right, so we've strung together, almost 40 hits on the combo meter, which is awesome. And there I go for another heavy counter, and the spacing is just off. So I had 2 heavies that landed, and then 2 heavies that I tried that completely whiffed because the spacing was not quite the same. And yeah, so at this point, I'm just going to be parrying and repairing as much as possible, parrying everything that I can, projectiles, everything, just to build up destructible charges, even though at this point I've got over 20 of them and it doesn't matter. I also want to be mitigating the damage. And then I'm going to be baiting heavies and interrupting his heavies with just standard combos. I mean, I'm going back to the very, very basics of mcoc, where you just block before you even have the parry mastery. You just block, bait heavies, and counter with full combos, and you just repeat that, and I mean, those were like literally the first few hours of playing Marvel Contest of Champions. That's what I remember doing. So I'm getting back to that, and because my Captain America is so tanky, and I've got 5 kinetic charges, and and because of block penetration, obviously, like, I know that if I don't make any more mistakes, I'm going to be totally fine here. I just need to settle down, calm down, and just try harder to focus. Because the scary thing is, in this war, I really, like, I understand, I was very aware that I've been really, really bad this season. And so I was conscious of trying to focus. I did duels. I did everything. I went through the process properly. I don't know. I just wasn't able to execute. All right, so here we go. Rank 3 Thing Boss. If you guys saw the last time that I attempted a rank 3 or just a Thing Boss with Immortal Abomination, my first attempt, I basically kind of lost track of my own acid burn, which causes me to be completely unblockable, and because of that I hit into his block trying to bait a special while he had 15 rock stacks. He countered and he killed me. And then I went back in to clean up, and it was a flawless fight. So I'm like, all right, cool. The last time that I took this fight, so the second attempt of the previous war where I fought a thing boss, the last time that I fought him, I crushed him. And it was perfect. It worked exactly like it did in my head. All right, so here is where I get into trouble really quickly here. He's under a bar of power, and he's at 15 rock stacks. All right, so I really need him to throw his SP1. There he does. I'm able to get a full dex off. All right, so pretty rough start, but we're back in a position where this is very much a winnable fight. I have plenty of time. A Mortal Abomination can really start to stack up the damage, pretty quickly if I'm able to throw in some SP2s and get my Toxic Aura up so that I can start poisoning him, all that stuff. And then, again, I get into a situation where I just am not able to manage his rock stacks properly. I'm pleading for him to back up just so I can hit into his block, but he doesn't. He kept coming at me, he cornered me, and alright, so there, I'm able to push him over a bar. Again, this is a winnable fight at this point. It has not gone well. It's been 2 minutes and I've done hardly anything, but it's winnable. So, alright, here, I'm going to block. He throws a medium to end, and I try to punish, and I'm just late. And then I panic, I throw my SP2, and now I have to get one hit in. I had that one chance. I had to get one hit in to get him up to 15 rock stacks when he had a bar of power, but instead he threw a special one. So now I just need him to back off so that I can hit into his block to start building power, and instead he goes unblockable, or I'm sorry, unstoppable, and I hit into him, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, whatever. I took 63 hits this war. I'm not sure, honestly, this is being completely honest. We've had some people struggle in 4 Loki. I'm not sure that anybody in 4 Loki has taken 63 hits this entire season. So it has just been absolutely brutal. Let's get into some interesting factoids about the number 63. 63-point games in NBA history, regular season and postseason, there have only been 20 ever. 63-point games in NFL history, that's team points scored, it's only happened 9 times. All right, and then there have only been 45 presidencies in the history of the United States, only 44 actual presidents. One president was elected to a second non-consecutive term, and thus, it was considered an additional presidency. Anyway, that's how bad this war was. I hope that you guys enjoyed it. Leave a like and a comment. Free to comment and criticize me for my skill level. I anticipate that. I'm not going to turn the comments off. It is what it is. However, if you don't want to do that, I would greatly appreciate it. And if you instead, for some reason, saw this video and you want to subscribe to the channel, then please do that. That would mean a lot to me. That is it. I will see you guys in the next one.